Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
There you have it. The Sixers lose their first game of the season. They are now 5-1. They go to Phoenix. They can't get the job done. Am I pissed off the Sixers lost a basketball game? Absolutely not. It's going to happen. You start out 5-0. You don't have Joel Embiid. You start to hit the road. You're going to lose basketball games, and you need to respect the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker had 40 points on 19 shots. Could we have defended him a little better and threw different looks at him than we did? Yeah, possibly, but the kid is special, and he does this all the time. Great offense beats great defense in this league, and I wouldn't say that we had great defense on him as a whole, but my point is, great offense wins in this league, and Devin Booker was sensational in this basketball game. The Suns have a good mix of young players and veteran players, and a good head coach as well. They have great wins under their belt so far this season. You got to respect them. They're not the Suns that they were over the last couple seasons. They have some energy surrounding them. And when a squad like the Sixers comes to town and they want to prove that they are a successful team this season, they're going to have a different type of vibe behind them. And the fan base is engaged now too because they've been watching crap ball over the last few seasons. They finally have a team that gives them effort and gives them excitement. So there was a little bit of hype surrounding this team and this game specifically. The Suns took care of business. It wasn't like the Sixers got dominated and ran out of the building. It was a tie game late in the fourth quarter. Down the stretch, though, the Suns made shots, and that's just what it is. It didn't help that the Sixers had one superstar on their team not show up. Before I get into that, though, do not forget about the promo code BROADS that you can use at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your ticket. So make sure you use it and get yourself to a game. So the superstar who did not show up tonight, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons had a performance that was unacceptable. That's my biggest takeaway from the game. I don't care that we lost. I don't. It's going to happen. There's 82 games. You don't win them all. I'm just disgusted with the performance Ben Simmons put on. He's human. Bad games happen. I get it. But that was awful. He had 7 steals. Everyone's going to see that and say, are you kidding me, Broads? He had 7 steals. He was 2 of 8 from the field. 6 points, and this is what irks me the most. He went to the free throw line 1 time. He had 2 free throws. This is a guy who is so big and so long at the point guard position. How are you not finding a way to get to the charity stripe? If you're not successful getting the ball in the basket, which he clearly was not in this basketball game, then find other ways. Get fouled. Be aggressive, take it hard to the hoop, and get fouled and get your ass to the free throw line. But he was unwilling to do that. It's so frustrating because we've seen this kid without the jump shot drop 25, 9, and 8 and be the best player on the court. He was the farthest thing from that, and that bothers me. Without Joel Embiid there too, this is even more of a game to go out there and be the greatest. And he came up small. Now the Suns put Baynes on Ben Simmons, and that frustrated him. The size was a factor. His defense, his will to defend Ben Simmons was a factor. Quite frankly, it pissed Ben off all night long, and he couldn't really get going. But you need to find a way. If you're a top talent in this league, you need to find a way. When you win, you don't point out the flaws. When you lose, the flaws start to get discussed. It's not about the jump shot. Like I said, I've seen the kid drop 28, 12, and 8 without a jump shot. You can't have 6 points in a basketball game. You just can't. You're supposed to be the leader. Who was the leader in this game? Al Horford for the Sixers. Are you serious? A 32-point night? 32, 5, and 4 for the big man. He was knocking down threes at the half. He ran full court, pull-up three, cash, ran himself into the locker room to tie the game in the fourth quarter at 100. Ben Simmons goes up soft, and he has a put-back monster slam running down the court full speed. It was incredible to see the guy play like that. That was arguably his best game in how long in his entire career? I'm not saying that was the best game of his career. I'm saying in recent time, that was arguably the best game that he's had in a while. Him and Tobias stepped up. Furkan had 20 points. He made shots here and there. Al Horford, Tobias Harris, and I'll throw Furkan in there. Now, the reason Furkan Korkmaz got the start, one, because of the shot he made in Portland, and two, because Matisse Thybulle is struggling to score the basketball, and I think Brett Brown realizes we need to stretch the floor a little bit more. Matisse Thybulle is shooting 25% from the field so far this season. He had 4 personal fouls in 5 minutes in this ballgame. And not only that, he went 0 for 2 at the free throw line and was 1 of 3 on the field and on the court as a whole. So that's just not going to cut it, right? It's just not going to cut it. So Tobias had 24 and 10. He was only 1 of 6 from 3. But he started to chuck some shots up late because him and Al Horford were the only two really getting anything seriously going. And they had to try and hold on and try and tie the game up late. Here's something that stood out to me. The points in the paint. 48-32 advantage Suns. This team has been dialed in scoring points in the paint. That's where the Sixers have been most effective in the league. They dominate that stat. Some of that can go towards the fact that Brett Brown elected to play a little bit more pick-and-roll basketball to get Tobias Harris going early, which worked because he was one of the hottest Sixers scoring the basketball early. But if you're going to switch to some pick-and-roll ball and have Tobias be the primary ball handler, that can take away from scoring points in the paint. The Sixers actually had their best three-point shooting in this game, which plays a factor in that. But what bothers me is you're going away from the bread and butter. You're going away from what actually worked through the first 5 games by not going back to the paint. Third quarter, 9:22 left in the game. This is the moment where I thought the Sixers could really take control. Because the Sixers were up at half. It seemed like they were, I wasn't going to say in control, but they had some mojo and they were working with it. 9:22 left in the third. The Suns were at the foul limit. And the Sixers did not take advantage. They were not being aggressive. They were not going to the rim. They were not trying to get fouled. Come on. That's basketball 101. When the other team is in foul trouble, get down low, force them to foul. Force them to have to be aggressive. Put them in a position they don't want to be in, where they have to make up their mind. Ooh, maybe I won't foul them. I'll just give them the bucket. But no, they did not take advantage of that situation. And from that moment, I figured, yep, that's very telling. That's telling to me. There was no will. Someone else who had a pathetic game was Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson, 3 of 11. He had some turnovers as well. He's struggling to find his rhythm right now in Philly. And I mentioned this many times. I wonder if it's because he doesn't know what his role is right now between the backup point guard, primary ball handler at times. He's at the 2 position. What is his role? Now, I stated in the season preview It's going to take time to gel. It's going to take time. No team just comes together and instantly they are this elite team. You're going to have to find where players fit the best. They're going to have to find out the rotation. Neto gets more playing time. And I think he has created some spark for this team. His first run during this game, a lot better than the second time he got in. But I see something there. I feel like he deserves more time. Because he has shown in his limited minutes that there is some energy surrounding him when he's in the basketball game. At the end of the day, it still came down to the wire. The Sixers were still involved. The magic just wasn't there. I'm not going to lie to you, though. During the last few minutes, I thought, is it possible? Is it possible to steal one here? If the Sixers steal one here, there is really something insanely magical going on. Ultimately, we know how it played out. No Joel Embiid. It's a difference maker. Absolutely. But it is what it is. And Utah is next on Wednesday. Joel Embiid will be back for that game. And Rudy Gobert's on the other side. It will be a fantastic matchup to watch. I can't get over Devin Booker, though. He was special. Scoring at will. Knocking down threes. At the free throw line. Perfect. He had that one runner where he was going to the right on Ben Simmons, and he's got like a one-legged runner, and he floats it in late. He was executing perfectly, and the kid's a stud. There's no denying it. He's very entertaining to watch, and he can score in so many different ways. It's not just a Steph Curry like where he pulls up from anywhere, sort of like a Trae Young as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's exciting to watch as well. But it's different. It's a different style of play. He gets to where he wants to on the floor. And he has help now as well. Like I said, the Suns added to their team. Picked up some veteran players. Baynes was a key piece in their victory. Ricky Rubio was a key piece in their victory. He was knocking down shots from behind the arc as if he was Steph Curry, and that's not something Ricky Rubio normally does. Now, before the game started, it was early in the game. It wasn't before the game. But one of the stats Mark Zumoff stated on the broadcast was how teams are knocking down three-pointers against this 76ers team. Well, we know last season that was a problem. Guards always went off, somehow dropped 50, 60 points on the Sixers. The team is long. They're not as quick compared to some of these smaller players that they're going up against. Does that play a factor in that three-point shooting? Because they're so long, they don't press as much by the perimeter? There's got to be some sort of correlation with the Sixers' size and why teams are able to knock down three-pointers so consistently. But there has to be a way to adjust. There has to be a way to figure it out because it can't happen at an insane clip all season long. Moral of the story, not mad about the loss. Disappointed, though, big time in Ben Simmons. I just thought the opportunity was there for him to step up. He didn't have a great game in Portland. Here's another chance without Joel Embiid to be a leader, to step up, to put the team in a position to win, and he did the exact opposite. 7 steals, it is impressive, but his stat line was garbage. Getting to the free throw line one time all game. With that size, it's unacceptable. Going up soft, unacceptable. I don't want to hear we should trade him. I don't, because that's the reaction. Oh, I can't believe we paid him all this money. I can't believe Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. It was a bad game. It was unacceptable. He's a very frustrating athlete because we see him dominate at an all-time high, and then we see things like this. You don't trade Ben Simmons. But he needs to figure it the hell out. That's what he needs to do. That's the fix. The fix isn't getting rid of him because of a bad basketball game on November 4th. And there will be more to come, I'm sure, because I know the track record. He sucks you in. He has a few games like this. He dominates. He dominates again. He dominates a third time. He might even dominate a fourth time and a fifth time. And then he'll have one of these games again. And then everyone freaks out and says he needs to shoot. He needs to hit threes and he should be traded. It's just the cycle. I've been around long enough to see it. The fix, he needs to figure it the hell out. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.